everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Violet.
And I'm Ruby.
And today we're talking about something that I'm always accused of doing poorly, and that's taking the perfect shot. I take a picture, and my daughters, not these two necessarily,
Amy?
but Amy and Holly, both are always correcting me on the pictures I take, and it's off center, and it's bad, and I think they correct you on your pictures you take too, right?
That's why I don't send pictures. They're always complaining about that, but I don't feel like taking the perfect shot for them.
They feel like taking the perfect shot. That's not a pun. That's what it's called. That's what you're taking pictures of animals in this game. Actually, you're just trying to see if something shows out of a little hole on a. You know what? I'll show you how to play it. This box right here is kind of the picture box that you're going to have. Each player is going to have 3 landscape cards, and each landscape card has different types of terrain. Some landscape cards just have 1 type of terrain, and some have 2. You'll notice the beginning one here in the box has 3, but they all have 1 to 3 holes on them. And so what you're going to do on your turn in each game is you're going to take a picture, or you're going to take an album. We'll talk about taking an album, but let's talk about taking a picture first. So when you take a picture, without kind of just by judging it by eye, you're not allowed to put the card down. You're going to place a card on top of the card that's already in there. And then you're going to look at the hole. So here I see an elephant. That's it. So I'm going to take a picture of an elephant, and I'll take this token. Let's say the next player plays this one here. They have part of an elephant there in the corner, so they would also get an elephant. If the next person went like this, you see they see an eagle, and part of a deer. That's a pretty good one. This one here sees part of an eagle, and, well, that's the shadow from a deer underneath it. So you can see its ear. It's kind of up to the players to decide what you're going to allow. There's also Yetis on here. Whenever you take a picture of a Yeti, you'll take one of these, which is either going to show the right half of a Yeti or the left half of a Yeti. Each player has 2 perfect picture tokens. Once per game, you might say, hey, I'm going to take a perfect picture. And so when you do it, you need to have the animal completely inside. Let me see if I can find one, because they're actually pretty tricky to try to take. But usually we found that it requires having one of the really big holes, but yeah, it can be done in different ways. But let's say a perfect picture. Is this a perfect picture? Yes, it is. See, that walrus is perfectly inside. If you declare a perfect picture and you're correct, you're going to get a bonus 2 points. If you're incorrect, you just put the token in front of you with 0 bonus points, because again, you can only do this twice over the course of a game. The other thing you can do is you can take an album. You pick one of the face-up albums and you put it in front of you, and then you'll replace it with a new one. Now, face-up albums are important because every animal in a face-up album, doesn't matter what you put in it, is worth a point. They tell you that. If you don't have enough spots to put your animals, you don't get points. But each of these albums also has a bonus. Like this one says if all 4 are the same, you get a bonus 4 points. So this would be 4 points, sorry, it's a bonus 3 points, plus another 3, so that would be worth 7 points. This here says if all 3 are from the jungle, doesn't matter which of the 2 jungle animals they are, you get a point. And there's all kinds of different bonus points that you can take. You can also put Yetis in here, but if you want credit for the Yeti, you got to put it so that the whole thing comes together, because Yetis are going to be worth extra points at the end of the game. Whenever you play a landscape tile, you will draw a new one, and when the pile of landscape tiles runs out, well, everyone plays the same number of rounds, and then the game's over. You all get a point for every picture you have on your albums. You get 2 points if you did those perfect shots. You get 1 point for each complete Yeti that you've done, and then you get 1, 2, or 3 points based on did you accomplish, like this, does this have 2 walruses in it? Then you get an extra 2 points. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. I do want to mention here that this comes out of the box. You could put it in the box, but we found that if you put it in the box like this, it's a little hard to see maybe from the side, so better just to put this on the table. Also, fitting everything in here is kind of a pain. There are a lot of tokens, and if you're going to put them in bags or anything, it's really a squish to put them in that box. I would argue this game does not necessarily feel like taking pictures.
Yeah, it's mostly just trying to figure out where the hole is supposed to go.
That's another weird thing about this game. Like, it says if it's in the photo. What does that mean? So if there's even like a speck of fur in the photos, does that count?
That's a little fuzzy in this game. I don't know that I like that because some people might argue to the rest of humanity's end over whether that hole had whatever it was in it. And I wish it was a little clearer. It doesn't help that they have background of leaves and things, and if those show up in the picture, you might go, well, is that part of it? Do you think the game was kind of hard to figure out what you could see through a hole?
I guess so. It's kind of annoying when they give you a bunch of small holes. So like they're saying, oh, it's equal to the large hole. No, it's not. It's very rare to actually find an animal that fits directly where that hole's supposed to go.
Even if there is a lot of them, like even if there's 3, it's really hard to get one in.
I agree. The big hole is so much easier. You're like, okay, this big hole's in the bottom left. There's animals in the bottom left. It will probably cross one of them. When there's 3 holes, you're like, I hope. I'm not very good at judging where those holes are. And you're not allowed to go up there and try it. So you're just kind of guessing. And there was a lot of guesses where people got nothing. But what about the Yeti? You can make 2 halves of a Yeti.
Wow.
You're big
how
up.
fun. I think I was the only one who got a complete Yeti, right?
You call me sarcastic. What was that?
I don't like how there's 2 sides and you have to like guess. So you could have 2 left sides or 2 right sides and it wouldn't count.
You could have 4 left sides.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Also, like sometimes they're like if you have 3 different animals and then 2 slots are taken up by Yetis, does that count or not?
So my biggest problem with this game, honestly, is that it ends too quickly. I felt like it was well over before we really got started. You're supposed to take a certain number of pictures out for less than 4 players. I'll never do that. I'll always play with all the pictures because you want to collect a bunch of animals. You don't get to collect that many if you're playing the things, especially if you miss pictures.
And since like you're one of the options for your turn is just taking one of those albums and that's your entire turn, just go to the next person.
Which is not as fun of a turn.
Yeah.
What do you think about the perfect shot?
I thought it was interesting, although that barely ever happened. And it's kind of
But,
annoying
like-
how you'd call it beforehand. Like, what if you forgot to call it, even though you think...
I think almost a perfect shot, you should just get it automatically.
Yeah.
Anytime you make a perfect shot. Because it almost never happens anyway.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, here's 1 point for
2
getting
points.
okay, 2 points for getting something that's really hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even see the point in like the 0 point side. Like just
Well,
don't
the 0
give
point
it
side
to
is
you.
there to say that you tried it. You can only try it twice per game.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So the device itself is kind of cool. It holds the cards in place. You put the cards on top. And I always like games that have holes in them to see the stuff underneath it. It's just that it's not what we call clean in the sense of you're going to argue over whether you can see something through it or not. And it's really hard to judge ahead of time. It's a cool concept, but I don't know. What are your final thoughts, Ruby?
Overall, I mean, if you want something quick to play, like really quick, that's pretty simple to learn, I guess you would play this.
Okay.
What?
That's very, very high praise. What's your rating?
5.5? I don't know.
Okay.
I thought the art was cute, and I did like the concept of the game. The board, I liked how the board could hold the cards exactly in place instead of them like wobbling around. That would have been really annoying if they did that.
Well, the rule book does say that if you play this a lot, eventually they'll get looser.
That would be annoying. Anyway, I thought it was an okay game. I would give it a 6.
I would also give it a 6. It's fine, but it has some problems. It's too fast, too annoying to figure out what's in there, and it's one thing. Can you see through these holes in your mind to see where they go when you put the picture down? Also, that doesn't really matter. Sometimes you just don't have any cards that match where the animals are on the card before you. They just might not be there. You can't rotate the card. You can't do it upside down or anything like that. So none of that really matters either. Meh. It's unfortunate. I really wanted to like this game more than we did. But it's fine. Perfect shot. A near miss. Not perfect. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom.
I'm Violet.
And I'm Ruby.
And we're the Vasels.